Called meeting to order.
Okay, welcome to the Queen Anne's County Commissioners Meeting. This is a public meeting that is being aired live on our local cable television station, QACTV 7. These media broadcasts provide county citizens an opportunity to watch and review our scheduled public meetings. In addition to our live audience this evening, we are providing remote options for citizens to watch and participate in county commissioner meetings. Citizens may watch our meeting live on our Queen Anne's County website at www.qac.org/live or on our Queen Anne's County television channel, Atlantic Broadband Channel 7 and High Definition Channel 507. Citizens may also participate by joining the live Zoom meeting by going to the link shown on the screen. Citizens may also email comments to public comment at qac.org, and comments received will be read during the press and public comment period during this evening's agenda. We acknowledge your participation, and by attending, you acknowledge this session is both recorded and aired. Press and public comment will be taken and is limited to 3 minutes per person. If you care to speak, please sign the information table in the lobby. Comments longer than 3 minutes may be submitted in writing for the Commissioner's review. We will now stand and be led in the Pledge of Allegiance by Commission President Chris Corcorino.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you could remain standing for all the soldiers serving abroad at Thanksgiving. Thank you.
It's one way to make up time.
Okay, Commissioners, we just held a closed session several closed sessions under General Provisions Articles 3305B1 to discuss personnel, Section 3305B7 to consult with counsel, and lastly, under Section 3-305B4 to consider a matter that concerns the proposal for a business. And we did make, I believe we've reached consensus on one item in the closed session, and that was to take some actions to address some workforce retention and recruitment situations that we have here in Queen Anne's County.
I'm going to make a motion to offset challenges of workforce retention, recruitment, and to overcome pressure from other jurisdictions for qualified employees. I move to authorize the county administrator and the directors of human resources and budget and finance to 1, implement a salary adjustment for county government employees effective in January of 2022, and 2, to provide higher entry-level salaries for the sheriff's deputies and internally adjust the salaries of existing law enforcement personnel. These actions will contribute to the essential and prompt public services without interruption. Valued employees will be retained, dedicated new workers can be hired, and succession planning can continue within Queen Anne's County.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion on that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? 5-0, that motion passes.
All right, thank you, Commissioners. Next, we have the approval of this evening's agenda. Today's meeting, November 23rd, and the regular and closed session meeting minutes from your November 9th meeting have been circulated for your review. Do we have any additions and/or corrections?
Yeah, I'd like to amend the agenda to reflect 2 events coming up in the next 2 weeks that 3 or more commissioners may be at. One is on 12/3, the Centerville Christmas Parade, as well as 12/4, the Waterman's Crab Basket tree lighting.
Okay.
That's a motion to.
And SantaCon.
Oh, I'm sorry, and 12/4 also SantaCon.
SantaCon.
Yep, okay. Thank you, Jim.
So we got,
So move to amend it to those.
Right.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now a motion to approve the agenda as amended and the minutes.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Bada bing. Okay, all right, that brings us to our first press and public comment period.
I don't think anybody signed
Has anybody
up.
signed up?
No one signed up.
Okay.
Skip through that.
Well, I will skip through that, and we can then move right into our action items for this evening. If you want to turn to tab number 3, we have 9 items this evening. First item is a proclamation for
Proclamations.
The proclamations.
Yeah, we have a proclamation. Okay, got them there. Proclamation for Small Business Saturday, 2170. Someone care to read that?
All right. Proclamation 21-70. Whereas Queen Anne's County celebrates our local small businesses and the contributions they make to our local economy and community, and whereas according to the United States Small Business Administration, there are 31.7 million small businesses in the United States. They represent 99.7% of all firms with paid employees and are responsible for 65.1% of the net new jobs created from 2000 to 2019. And whereas small businesses employ 47.1% of the employees in the private sector in the United States, 88% of U.S. consumers feel a personal commitment to support small businesses in the wake of the pandemic, and 92% of small business owners have pivoted the way they do business to stay open during the pandemic. And whereas 97% of small business Saturday shoppers recognize the impact they can make by shopping small, 85% of them also encourage friends and family to do so. And whereas 56% of shoppers reported they shopped online with a small business on Small Business Saturday in 2020, and more than 50% of consumers who reported shopping small endorsed a local business on social media or shopped at a local business because of a social media recommendation. And whereas Queen Anne's County supports our local businesses that create jobs, boost our local economy, and preserve our communities. And whereas advocacy groups, as well as public and private organizations across the country, have endorsed the Saturday after Thanksgiving as Small Business Saturday. Now, therefore, we, the County Commissioners of Queen Anne's County, do hereby proclaim November 27th, 2021 as Small Business Saturday in Queen Anne's County, and urge our residents of our community and communities across the country to support small businesses and merchants on Small Business Saturday and throughout the year.
Good.
All right.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Wilson. Item number, tab 3, item number 2, on page 2, is a recommendation to participate in a grant opportunity. Very exciting. This is from our Broadband Advisory Council, and this is a request to approve recommendations to select several ISP internet service providers to serve the remaining unserved and underserved areas in Queen Anne's County through a grant program at the state, and this would potentially provide up to 90% of the funding. We're talking about like $12.7 million here.
5%.
Excuse me, 95%. And so we're expecting a commitment, local commitment, to match those grant funds of $636,000. So Megan Delgalio is here if you have any questions, but can I get a motion on that to start, please?
You want to read it, Phil? Oh, okay. I move to approve the recommendations of the Broadband Advisory Council in their selection of ISPs to serve the remaining unserved and underserved areas through participation in the Connect Maryland FY22 Network Infrastructure Program. The county's expected matching contribution is $636,345.69 and is hereby committed from existing county resources contingent upon grant approvals.
Very good.
So the only thing I want to amend is the amount, Jim. We had 2 changes, so it's only 623, 280.74.
Okay.
There's an amended version on the desk.
Yeah, there was a slight adjustment in one of those. My apologies, Commissioner, but yeah. Okay. And that's subject to change based on the grant amounts, but
right.
Anyway, we're good there.
So I'll change my motion to reflect that 623, 280.74.
And Stevie still seconds it.
Stevie still doing second. Yep.
Third. Discussion?
Absolutely. Exciting day, huh?
Yes, very
Long
exciting.
time coming, 4
Yes.
years now. So fantastic. So the overall percentage, we're in the mid-90s now when this all gets
We're
done?
creeping up. I don't know exactly how much coverage of the entire landmass, but we're creeping up pretty.
And this
pretty
is all
substantially.
fiber?
Will be all wired, all fiber optic, yes.
Where do we start at, Jack? When we put the group together?
39% unserved at that time. Yeah, 39 or 40, somewhere in that range, based on the,
On the
Yeah,
landmass.
right. And a lot of that was based on older maps too, so I think it was actually bigger than that because they were still using older speeds to qualify you as having broadband, which was not a reality for a lot of people. So this brings us into the 21st century and beyond. So.
It's a major development.
It is. It's huge. And, and one thing I guess now, Megan, you guys can't, success brings more success. So now you got to start over, and now we got to start going back and look at some of our older broadband infrastructure and start concentrating on how we can get some money to get that upgraded and try to
Right,
get
yeah,
fiber
that's-
in all those areas too.
Sure, yeah, that'll be something that we're hoping that the state will want to contribute to next go-round, yep.
Yeah, and I think there's the appetite at the state level, because they realize too, 25-year-old infrastructure, we've got a lot of old copper in the ground and things like that, and I know it's challenging for Atlantic Broadband. I know a lot of people have their problems with Atlantic Broadband in terms of the service, but a lot of it is just the older infrastructure, and I give them credit. They were the first ones here, and they served the populous areas, and so it's kind of hard to really chastise them for what they've done, because it is big capital expenditure to go change all those lines out, but I know they've done some down
Yes, they
Jim's
have.
way, they've
Yep,
done
yep.
some, so
Yep,
if we can
with the
just
fiber.
try to refocus now and get that stuff, and I guess the long-term plan, I challenge all of our providers to bring back to us, the commissioners, after the first year, obviously, but with some kind of a roadmap in their minds of how they're going to systematically maintain these systems over the next 10 years. I'd like to see a 10-year plan. I don't ever want to see Queen Anne's County get into where we are and were during the pandemic, when we had kids that couldn't get online to go to school. We had business owners that couldn't, do their businesses, and were forced to based on the requirements of the pandemic. So I think seeing a 10-year long-term plan from our providers of how they plan on, and if they need help, we know ahead of time what that help might be, whether it's monetarily or whatever, so.
Very good.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? 5-0, motion passes.
Thank you, Megan.
Thank you.
Thank the Broadband Advisory Commission.
We definitely want to thank Megan. She's been with us on this project for the long haul, her commission, so we're glad to see we hopefully get some money coming home. And I also want to recognize our new IT director, Mr. Brian Riley, here with Megan tonight.
Welcome
so-
aboard.
Yeah, so, thank
You
you
came on
both.
just in time.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Have a good evening.
All right, thank you both. All right, Commissioners, item 3 on page 3 is from the Department of Emergency Services, the FM 200 Clean Agent Fire Suppression System. They received a grant from the 911 Board for $25,685 to provide this system in the backup public safety network system over here at the courthouse. Could I get a motion on that, please?
I move,
Go.
you want to do it?
Don't care.
Fire away.
I move to authorize the Director, Department of Emergency Services to execute a contract with, what is this here? BFETE to purchase a FW 200 system for the Department of Emergency Services Public Safety 911 Backup Center and server room for $25,685.
Second.
All right, got a motion and a second. Discussion?
All grants.
All grand.
All agreed.
Gotta love that.
And is that basically just to bring this old building into compliance?
So it's basically covering the server room is the only area that this fire suppression system works for. We're doing a joint server room across the street at the old courthouse. So half of the room is going to be county IT, the other half is going to be our 911 service. So this is just a protection system. So if in the event of a fire, it doesn't get wet. It's a chemical
dry
system
system, right.
that puts it out.
All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? 5-0, motion passes.
All right, thank you, Commissioners, and thank you, Scott, Director Haas. Item number 4 is procurement for the 911 backup system for an uninterrupted power system supply, UPS. They've also received a grant from the Maryland 911 Board for $37,064.01 for a UPS system for the Public Safety Backup Center.
Your turn.
Okay. I move to authorize the Director of the Department of Emergency Services to execute a contract with Magathy Technologies LLC to purchase a Liebert UPS system for the Department of Emergency Services Public Safety 911 Backup Center for $37,064.01.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? 5-0, motion carries.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much, Commissioners. Everybody have a
Director
good
Haas, thank you
Thanksgiving.
for coming tonight. Good to see you. Thank you very much. All right, Commissioners, item number 5 on page 5 is a request to sign a support letter for a small grant application for the Economic Development and Tourism Group, and this is for a grant in the amount of $2,000 to fund the creation of a digital app that will be used to adapt and update existing self-guided tours found in the county for our tourism folks. They would include downtown Stevensville, Centerville, Kent Narrows, as well as historic site consortiums across the county.
A motion that we support the QAC Economic Development Tourism Grant application for the ESHI Small Grant of $2,000 and sign the attached support letter.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion?
So to that end, I mean, yeah, nothing about the grant, but more in particular, the idea behind some of these walk-in areas like downtown Stevensville, the Narrows, obviously, and we've talked about it before, and now with the advent of some more broadband, I think we should start thinking about having more of the walking Wi-Fi, similar to what Chestertown's done, especially in historic areas, because an app like this would play right into that, to where, you know, it's a walk and talking app, touring and all that kind of stuff. Just something maybe Megan, not to ask her then, but maybe that we can look into and see what the possibility of being able to incorporate that in somehow to this app to actually make it, you know, usable just about everywhere.
Okay, good point. Yep, we can do that.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? 5-0, that motion passes.
All right, thank you, Commissioners. Item number 6 on page 6 is the FY22 overhead door replacement bid from the Department of Parks and Recreation. And this is a request to replace 10 overhead garage doors at 3 locations, Crumpton, Terrapin, and Route 18 Shop. Funding is available in their major maintenance account, and they recommend awarding it to Armin Doors of Queenstown for $34,200.
I move to authorize the Department of Parks and Recreation to award the overhead door replacement bid to Armin's Garage Doors for the amount of $34,200.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? 5-0, the motion passes.
Thank you, Commissioners. Item number 7 on pages 9 and 10 is a request from Dr. Salins to transfer funds between major state categories for the period ending November 3rd, 2021. Can I get a motion on that, please?
I move to approve the transfer of funds between major state categories of Queen Anne's County's public schools as submitted by Dr. Salins, Superintendent, Queen Anne's County Schools.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion?
The only thing I'd like to ask is that from now on, when we do this, if Dr. Salins could attend the meetings just to, if there's any questions on it, typically, we always requested that Dr. Kane and Dr. Williamson prior to that, just because of the size of some of these, just so they can get background or whatever.
In case there are any questions.
Right.
Certainly. Okay, we can do that, Commissioner. Okay.
Or the budget director, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Somebody on behalf of the board.
Somebody, yeah, on behalf of the board, yeah.
Okay, certainly.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? 5-0, that motion carries.
Thank you, Commissioners. Item number 8 on pages 11 through 14 is a memorandum from Beverly Churchill, and this is a recommended policy change to our vacation payout policy, which would increase the eligibility for vacation payout from 40 up to 80 hours per year. Can I get a motion on that, please?
I move that the vacation payout policy be adopted as presented to be effective January 1st, 2022.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Todd, this is any time during the year. It's not, somebody could have 140 hours of vacation time accumulated and they walk in and say, I'd like to get paid for 40 or 80 hours of it. Is that what it is?
That's correct.
Because it never goes away. I mean, they get a maximum amount, so they could end up at the end of their career and take off whatever that is, 800 hours.
Right, well, you have a cap of 600 hours.
Right, well, that's technically correct, but they have to have a minimum balance of 200 hours in order to qualify to participate, but they can do it anytime during the year. But it is a terminal benefit, so when somebody retires or they leave, we do pay out their vacation pay. That is the only leave balance that we pay out.
Up to how many hours? Up to 600?
600.
Up to 600,
yes,
right.
yes. So it is.
So they have to have 200, so if somebody had 200 hours in the till, they wouldn't be able to sell any of that back, because they have to have at least 200.
What did you use? So if they have like 100 hours, they wouldn't be able to participate
under
in this
200.
program.
Right,
Right.
So 195,
right.
No, they can't.
Right.
Yep, they're
Okay,
no good.
Good.
Yep.
No, that's fine. Okay. Thank you.
Any other discussion, questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? 5-0, motion carries.
Thank you, you, Beverly. And our last action item is item number 9, and this is a text amendment in the form of an ordinance, County Ordinance number 2109, and this is a proposed text amendment to Chapter 18 of the Code that would be change the definition of a shooting club as set forth in Appendix A of Chapter 18 of our county code. And this would be forwarded to the Planning Commission for review and inspection and recommendation.
I'll do this one. I move to forward the proposed county ordinance number 21-09 to the Planning Commission for review and investigation and a recommendation back to the county commissioners.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? 5-0, motion carries.
All right, Commissioners, that concludes our action items for this evening. We can, we're just a little bit behind schedule, we can move right into presentations this evening. Okay.
Come on up.
First up, we have Mr. Logie Knight, the Assistant Director for His Hope
Oh,
Ministries.
sorry.
Yep.
I forgot that.
Come on up, yep. We have a proclamation for Youth Homelessness Awareness Month.
All right.
Mr. Knight, yep.
Okay.
You can have a seat.
Yeah, have a seat, have a seat.
That way they'll catch you on the microphone for those who are watching.
Thank you. Okay, first I'd like to explain a little bit about our program. We are His Hope Ministries Midshore Unaccompanied Homeless Youth Program. We are the only program that serves 5 Midshore counties: Queen Anne's, Kent, Talbot, Dorchester, and Caroline. The population we serve are homeless youth between 18 and 24. What we do is we assist them with locating and acquiring housing, as well as instructions and life skills, employment services, as well as connections to other resources. Today we're requesting the proclamation. With that, I'd like to go into why we actually are requesting the proclamation. Because November was first declared National Homeless Youth Awareness Month in the year 2007. Since then, November has been acknowledged as the time for children and families experiencing homelessness to be recognized. In this country, we are currently experiencing somewhere around 2.5 million homeless youth, youth between 18 and 24, some parenting, some single individuals that have just been misplaced from their homes, most likely since the age of 16. With this proclamation, His Hope Ministries is compiling a list of partners across our 5 Midshore counties. The partners basically are our resource. So when we locate homeless youth, there are already connections here in Queen Anne's County. They would report out to our agency that there is a homeless youth. We would come out and service them with whatever it is that they need help with, either housing, case management, some vocational skills. We assist them with acquiring all those things. So with this proclamation, Queen Anne's County would agree to be a partner in the fight against youth homelessness.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I have the proclamation.
Go ahead.
Read the proclamation first, then.
Whereas the County of Commissioners of Queen Anne's County proclaimed the month of November as National Homeless Youth Awareness Month. And whereas the purpose of the National Homeless Youth Awareness Month is to raise awareness and to educate the citizens of Queen Anne's County about the homelessness youth crisis, the issues that these young people face, the many reasons young adults 18 through 24 are homeless, and the role citizens can play in ending youth homelessness. And whereas His Hope Ministries is committed to providing emergency shelter and supportive services, as well as meals and other supportive services to young adults ages 18 to 24, experiencing housing instability or homelessness. Whereas the County Commissioners of Queen Anne's County, Maryland, recognize the hunger and homeless continue to be a serious problem for many young adults 18 through 24, individuals and families in Queen Anne's County, particularly during the COVID-19 pandemic. And whereas the intent of National Homeless Youth Awareness Month is consistent with activities of His Hope Ministries and all His Hope Ministries programs, and now, therefore, be it resolved that the County Commissioners of Queen Anne's County hereby proclaim November as Homeless Youth Awareness Month here in Queen Anne's County, Maryland. And be it further resolved that the County Commissioners of Queen Anne's County encourage all citizens to recognize that many people do not have housing and need support from people and organizations in their communities. And it's signed by your county commissioners.
Thank you. So,
Appreciate it.
Commissioner Moran had a
Thank you for all your hard work.
I've got a question. How many souls are you helping at this present time?
I just did a report. As of our fiscal year started September 1. Since then, we've calculated 23 youth that we've either housed, sheltered, or provided some outside resources.
That's in the 5-county area?
That's within the 5-county
I mean,
area.
do you have your own facilities?
We do.
You know,
Our shelter is located in Caroline County. However, through our CLC, we partner because our program serves 5 mid-shore counties. We are partners with every shelter within those 5 mid-shore counties. So we are actually a partner here.
So what do you do when someone comes up that's only 17?
We can still service them. Actually, there's a, we were just working on legislative to actually, we can serve youth 13? 13, from 13 and up. So we can actually house them, they can consent to shelter.
It's age of consent, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
How many years have your program been in?
Our program is 3 years old. Our youth program, 3 years. Yes.
Did you just have a ribbon cutting somewhere or some kind of an event recently?
For one of your
I thought I-
facilities?
I thought I saw
We were
something.
actually just gifted a building from Caroline County.
That's what it was. Larry Porter and all were there.
Yes,
That's what I saw. I
yes,
saw the
we were
signing of it.
gifted a
That's right.
building, and
Okay.
inside that building, we're actually going to host our trainings, classes. We'll have offices for outside service providers to come in and conduct interviews and provide their service.
And do you do any collaboration with Haven Ministries here in the county?
Yes, yes, we do. When they get youth, 18 to 24, they give us a call. We determine whether they are going to remain here and receive services, which we have to just travel to them. And so we try not to move them from their natural habitat, wherever they like to be, because they become accustomed to certain areas. They know the area. They know where the resources are. So we service them where they are. If they are in desperate need of shelter, then they can be transported to our shelter, which we have. We serve families and singles in our shelter, but this year we've added a wing for youth, specifically for youth.
What's your capacity at the shelter?
65 persons.
Nice.
Hopefully you'll
50
never
to
be full.
65, depending on the makeup of the families, because the families get family rooms and they could hold anywhere from 2 to 8. So those numbers can
And where do your funding sources come from?
donations. We do get state funding for rapid rehousing, but that's it.
So for people who might be watching right now or watch this video later, where can they go to learn more about giving you donations? You have a website or something like that?
We have a
right?
website, hishopeministries.org.
Hope Ministries.
HisHopeMinistries.org.
Yes.
Very good.
Do you work with obviously our local DSS office, and how about Mike Clark's office here at the county? Because I know they have a lot of different services that.
We've not yet gotten to Mr. Clark's office. However, we are connected partners with the Queen Anne's County School.
Okay.
The library is a partner.
You may want to reach out to Margie in our office to get Mike's contact, because I know on the housing side in particular, he does a lot of work for people here in Queen Anne, so he's a great resource from that standpoint.
Well, thank you for what you do.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's well needed.
Quite a commitment on
Appreciate
your
you coming
part.
in.
Well, thank you all for being
Well
a
done.
partner.
Well
Thank
done.
you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good evening, gentlemen.
You too.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, Commissioners, our next presenter is Ms. Janice Salazar, our librarian. So she's here to talk about expanding the Kent Island Library, the branch capital campaign, building a thriving community. So,
Quite a mouthful.
yes, it is. All right. Welcome. Good to see you again.
Nice to see you as well. I have with me today Kathy Smerick, who is our capital campaign consultant, who I will honestly say has done all the really hard work on our capital campaign, because she is awesome, and she has made it the success that it is. So I just wanted to give you a really quick update on the progress we're making on our capital campaign, because, you know, you guys have given us a lot of money towards this building, and I can't thank you enough for that. The state gave us some great grants for this building, and I can't thank them enough for that. But our community has really come out in droves to support this building as well. And I think they all need thanks, and Kathy needs 100% of the thanks because she's been great. Our goal is $500,000. As of the 18th of November, we had raised $386,810, and we have additional
Pledges, not yet,
Pledges.
checks in the mail, process, yeah.
of $40,000. So I feel like we're getting very, very close to our goal. We started our brick campaign again, so if you haven't bought a brick, now's a good time to get a brick. And within the first 2 weeks, we got $3,000 worth of sales on those bricks, and they sell for like $100, which makes it accessible for everyone in the community to help build our library. And so I just really wanted to take this time right before Thanksgiving to give you all a very big thank you, because this building would not have happened without your support. And I think just knowing how many people, we've had over 470 people make donations, that it really speaks to how well this library is going to be received once it's finally open and ready to go. So thank you very much for your support, and thank you very much for allowing me to say that tonight. Kathy, do you want to say anything more?
I think I would just emphasize, and I know we had circulated some materials in advance, just the diversity of donors to the project. So we've had individuals, families, organizations, small businesses, major businesses, foundations, really all coming together, which I think is a testimony to what Janet and her colleagues do at the library, that it is serving so many purposes. It's serving the academic purposes, it's serving the economic purposes, serving civic purposes in the community. So again, it's been an interesting time to have a capital campaign in the middle of a pandemic. Some unique challenges. The library buildings were in fact closed when we started the capital campaign. So to have this level of support from across the community has really been rewarding, and I think speaks very highly of the support that you all have given to this project throughout the effort.
And so this was really just to give you an update. I know we were supposed to come up with $250,000, and we have met and exceeded that, but we really would like to exceed our $500,000 goal as well. And just to thank you all for your time and your support for this.
So how far along are you? When's your ribbon cutting? What's it looking like?
Yeah, so I was going to ask, so completion time, how are we doing? Are we ahead of schedule, behind schedule? Budgeting,
Right now, we are
on
a little bit
budget?
behind schedule. I believe that Lee is telling us that we're about 6 months behind schedule. We're waiting on our shelving to show up. We can't really do anything until we have shelves to put the books on. And that is still on track to be here about mid-December. So once that's there, we can start moving into the new part, and then they can start renovating the old part. But with all the supply chain and the delayed shelving, it's going to push us back about 6 months. So.
But while the timeline has changed, but they're still on budget.
As far as I know, we are still on budget.
As of last update.
So we're planning to stay on budget.
So this list of $1,000 plus donors is a who's who. I mean, this is.
You on there, Phil?
Yeah, they spelled my Corcorino on the.
And I'll say the capital campaign is still accepting donations, certainly through the end of the year. And we plan, as the timeline for building has been extended, this extends our opportunity to raise funds for the building. So anyone interested, we are still accepting.
How much for Commissioner Wilson to get naming rights?
He wants like a plaque right there, like a cornerstone
I heard
plaque.
he wants a wing.
We have opportunities for
He can probably
everyone.
help you hit that $500,000 goal. What amount do you need? 100,000 and change.
We're about $80,000 away from the $500,000 goal. So there you go.
Only 80,000?
Christmas is coming,
Some is, and there's a lot of different.
Can you
Would you
give
do-
your, not to steal Commissioner Corcorino's, but can you give where you would go to donate so that people that are watching or again see it later?
You can go to our website. Our capital campaign is right on QAClibrary.org/capital campaign, and you can donate right online. You can certainly send us a check. We're always taking checks. We will take stocks. We will take whatever you want to give us, honestly.
And you
I
can
think
also
people
go.
are trying to give us property too, so there you go.
That's right. And if you go into either branch of the library, they'll be happy to
We'll take it in
facilitate
person.
donation.
Yes.
Would you do one thing, and that's check with Paul Kirst. We've got about 100 million feet of metal book or file shelving in the bottom of the courthouse,
Oh, I'll talk to
which
Paul.
is about to get destroyed if we don't use it, so.
This is something I did not know. All right, I will check with Paul then.
February's worth, yeah.
Very good.
Thank you all for your
Very
time.
much.
Thank you.
Have a happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you as well.
Thanks for coming in. Good to see you.
My contribution.
Okay, Commissioners, that concludes our presentations for this evening. We can go to press and public comment, part 2.
Anything? None?
You got to stop doing such a
Round
good
table.
job.
Yep. Okay, roundtable.
Start on this end?
All right, you sure you want to start here? I had a long list, Chris.
Go ahead. Then we'll just
All right. So actually, I just really wanted to recap some stuff. I spent Wednesday, Thursday, Friday last week at the MACO Board of Directors meeting. We discussed a lot of things that are going to be coming up in Annapolis this next session. But first, I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. That's the what everybody's looking forward to anyway. And according to Jim's traffic report, it sounds like most people are already heading there. So
Good.
just real quick, the broadband, the state's commitment to the broadband, that was fantastic, and the federal government's commitment to that, to make that, if anything out of COVID has come with a silver lining, it's definitely the availability of money to expand that infrastructure. Long overdue, long overdue. Some good news on the highway user revenue front. It appears that the state also has a large cachet of money for infrastructure projects, and there may be some movement to restoring money again into that for us, which will certainly take a little bit of the pressure off our own budget with having to, and I explained that we have 500 miles of roads that we have to maintain, and we try to do it in a 5-year period, so 100 miles a year. It gets expensive, no doubt. Stevie can probably quote you the numbers for it per foot. But the other thing was I got some clarification on the opioid settlement, which I think we had talked about last week, and we spoke with our partners in MML about that, and they are kind of on board with the whole flipping the script on the counties and localities would get the 85% and the state would maintain the 15%, which kind of makes sense since we're in the trenches and the money's needed here locally to not only reimburse a lot of the expenses we put out, but to also help with the treatment and everything else. And I know, Jim, you speak to a lot more of that. Well, the big thing was, it was curious. It was one that came up that it was amazing, but it's in the news all the time. Is cybersecurity and the what it's costing counties and municipalities now to insure themselves for cyber threats. In 2011, I think the number they gave with Legit, who obviously we're insured through, they spent for all of their counties and municipalities that they covered $80,000 to insure them all. This year, they're thinking that number is going to be somewhere in the range of between $800,000 and $1 million for similar coverage, and actually less coverage because there's going to be a certain deductible associated with that.
Is that because of the ransom?
Yeah, so because right now it's funny because it's public. Apparently, it's because it's public information. It's out there how much counties are covered for. So what they're finding is if they find out, like for instance, Queen Anne's County is covered for $1.2 million, these ransom guys come in and they say we want $1.2 million from Queen Anne's County. Well, it gets paid out on the insurance side. No fuss, no muss. They don't come in for $1.3 million because then you're holding the county up, and the county would have to come up, and then we'd be up here. What do we do? That kind of stuff. So they're getting pretty smart about that. But yeah, but that's just crazy. I mean, it's gone up 1,000%, whatever it is, over 10-year period. So and it's apparently there's no end in sight. But we did get a compliment as Queen Anne's County from Legit that we are one of the counties that is doing great with our protection schemes. A lot of the stuff we've approved over the last couple of years and put in place puts us at the top of the state in terms of protection. I said, well, doesn't that garner us some kind of a rebate on the insurance since we're spending all this money to make sure we don't have a cyber threat? Yep. Yes, it doesn't work that way. So anyway, so another thing that came up and is part of some state policy that's being worked on right now is for the CIP spending for our for our school capital budgets. There's they're talking about now, they have a group in session now. Chris, I think you were on the call yesterday, you caught part of that too. that is actually overseeing how they're going to spend. Right now, there's a $50 million pot that's going to be in there for capital projects. And what that's going to help is smaller counties that can't front fund projects on their CIPs. This will help them because it will front fund it. And then when the state pays their share on the back end, you'll be able to get it paid back. So you're not taking that, if you don't have the credit to be able to front fund it, you're not going to be shut out from doing it. One of the questions I ask, because I think for us it's more pertinent than worrying about building a new school, because we really don't have one in the pipeline right now that's, pressing, is that if we group a lot of our CIP projects together, like our roofs, chillers, some of the stuff we've seen over the last couple of years, group them into a lump, if we can bring that in as a lump and then be eligible for it. And it sounds like there is that possibility we'd be able to do that. So that would reduce our bonding on some of these projects, because we would basically get it front funded, and then on the back end, pay it back when the state pays us. So awesome program for us with what we're doing, especially, like systemic upgrades and things like that, which we've been concentrating on. Hopefully that'll work out and we can maybe get some more done. We could probably do some more is what I'm thinking, because, we've had to push some things out because of just the finances of it. And then Kerwin in general. So there's still, what Kerwin's going to come back, it's going to probably be called Kerwin 3.0, because there are some fallacies in some things that were missed in terms of coverage of employees within the system. And for anybody that watches the news and seeing what like Anne Arundel County's done, specifically bus drivers, has become a real critical issue across the state in every jurisdiction, including our own. One of the problems obviously being the CDL, getting people CDL qualified to drive a bus. And the other is just they don't have the pay scale and or the raises that are equitable to what others are making within the school system. And so they kind of have, honestly, they got the upper hand right now, because without school buses, kids can't get to school generally. So I think that's going to be addressed in this next session, along with probably a couple other of the ancillary jobs within the school system. Probably, I would think, in the maintenance, cafeteria, custodial, that kind of thing. So I think we're going to see a revamping of the formulas. So that's it.
Geez, who wants to follow that?
What he said.
Right. Well, it's obviously all good news, and the only thing that I want to come in, and also I want to, as I'm sure the rest of my fellow commissioners are going to do, want to wish everybody a wonderful Thanksgiving and an opportunity to spend time with family. And speaking of spending that time with family, you college kids out there that have come home for Thanksgiving, make sure you give your parents that fair share of time slot, because they do miss you. Reagan.
And reminding the county law that they have to be home by 10.
Yeah, and you have to be home. The car has to be in the driveway by 10 o'clock.
County law.
It's county law. Reagan.
I got nothing. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
I think the only thing the public should be aware of is that this mess with the hospitals continues. The emergency rooms are backed up. Hospitals understaffed. Hook up with your primary care people. Know where your urgency centers are, because they're going to be a better bet than the hospitals when we get to December and January. That's it.
All right. Well, happy Thanksgiving, and I always say something that you're thankful for. I want to again, and I know all the commissioners agree with me on this, thankful to all the people that work for the county and all that they've done through COVID, nonstop getting the services out to the citizens. We have some, it's hard recruiting and retaining, but those who are there every day, and they're making sure that the county citizens are getting the services that they're paid for. And I'm grateful that throughout COVID, this county, we never imposed any restrictions on anybody. It was anything that was done was at the state level, and we've been able to coast this county through the pandemic fairly well. And I'm very thankful for that.
Because of staff.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
We're closed.